Hi everybody, Joseph here from Breakaway Campervan here. So we're just going to do a little walk around of our Rollerteam Zefiro 696 here. So if you've hired this for the 2023 season by this particular model, you'll either get Kayla, Louise or Madison Marie. So we'll have a quick walk around the outside, show you how everything works on the outside, then we'll go inside and show you how all that works so you've got some idea when you come to pick it up. Right, so when you pick the motorhome up, you'll get the keys. So this is your vehicle key, so this will let you in the cab doors with the ignition and the bonnet release and lock the cab doors. This one here will work your habitation door and all your lockers on the outside. So remember, if you lock the van with this one, it won't lock the habitation door or the lockers. Always make sure you lock it with these ones. And do not remove this fob from the keys either, because this is the immobiliser key and it won't work. So make sure that's on the keys all the time. If you need to bring to the bonnet for anything, ignition key goes in this little slot here. Turn it to the left, then to the right, and that will allow the bonnet to lift up. And you've got a catch here to hold it up, as so. This is your water filler here for your screen wash. This will be full when you pick it up, so hopefully it'll last you higher, but if you need to top it up, that's it there. And that's a dipstick for your oil. So should you wish to check the oil if you're on a long trip, you can, but I say we'll check all that before you go. I say to close the bonnet, simple as just fold the safety leg away, just get it out and about here and just let it drop like that, and that's it shut. Then just pull your key straight out and that's it locked. I say just give it a little tug underneath there just to make sure it is locked. It should be. Now should you need to for any reason get towed off, if it's a wet pitch or something like that, this is the front towing point. There's nothing on the back of these. You cannot get towed backwards, only forwards. So all you do is simply just pop a key in there or a little screwdriver, so you can pop that off. And there's a screw and toe pin in the locker on the back there. So it just screws in there. There is a little tow rope under the seat inside, which I'll show you in a bit, which screws in there, which you hook on, sorry, to get towed out. But any damage, anything caused by getting towed off will be billed to the customer. And as I say, there's nothing on the back, so if you do get stuck and you have to get towed backwards, it's going to have to be a recovery company, I'm afraid, because they're going to have to go underneath to the chassis and tow you off. Right, on the passenger side of the vehicle, you have your diesel goes in here and your AdBlue, so simple as open the door. So as you can see, you've got your diesel filler fuel point here, diesel only, remember, no petrol. It does say on the front here, diesel only. And they also do take AdBlue as well. Now we will fill this up when you pick the vehicle up, so it will be full of AdBlue. But should you be on a long hire, it might flash up on the dash and it needs filled up. Don't ignore it if that comes up. Make sure you do go to the local service station and you can buy like a little 5 litre drum of it, AdBlue it's called, and just pour it in there and fill it up. I say if you do let it run out, the engine will stop and will cause damage to the vehicle. All our vehicles do come with RAC breakdown cover, so if you do have any issues with them, there'll either be a number on the windscreen here or on a bit of paper on the back of the visor on the passenger side. So I advise you just give them a call, give them the vehicle registration number, then your location, then you'll get somebody out there, then you can give us a call and we'll keep on top of them after that and make sure they're all coming out to sort you. Also, if you do get a puncture or anything like that, there is a spare tyre slung underneath on the back, and the wheel brace and jack and everything are in the back garages on these. But you can also give them a call and they will come out and change it over for you, save you faffing on trying to jack it up and climb under the back and get the spare wheel and everything out of that. So just give them a call and they can sort that out for you. So your habitation door, so as I said before, this one little key will work your habitation door and all your lockers on the outside. So to open it, put it in, turn it to the left half a turn and it'll open. And to lock it, half a turn to the right and that's it locked. Right, now your toilet cassette. So when you need to empty your toilet cassette, same key as your habitation door, as I said. Put it in this top locker, turn to the right half a turn, take it out. Now you push this one and this one in together and the door will open. So now there is a little reminder on here. So before you try to pull this out, make sure you shut the blade on the toilet inside. This handle is the blade I was talking about. So if you lift the bowl, at the moment this is the blade on the bottom here, it's shut. So that needs to be shut to pull the cassette out. So the handle should be to the left like this, and the side to open it just slides across, and as you can see it's opened the blade there. But as I say, to remove that cassette outside, it must be in a shut position like that towards the left. So as long as the blade's shut on the toilet, as I just said there, all you do is lift this little blue catch here and the cassette will slide out. So you lifted that blue cassette, it's sliding out. So all you do is take it to the Elson point on the side, spin that around, take the cap off, then just tip it up on the Elson point and hold this little blue button in here. That'll let the air in and lets all the waste come out. Once you've emptied it, put some fresh water down there off the hose, give it a squish around, and do the same again, tip it out. Then the toilet cassette blue that's in the gas locker on the other side, all you do is pour about that much straight in here and screw the cap back on. Don't pour it down the toilet or you'll stain the bowl on the toilet. Make sure you just pour it in there, literally about that much, it's not a lot. Straight in there and screw the cap back on. Then slide that back around. Simply slide it back in till you get that click. As I say, if you are going to remove, when you are removing this, if you go to lift that up and there's any resistance there, that means the blade's not shut or not shut properly. So just click it back in just that little bit, go back inside and make sure the blade just open and shut it. Then it should come out. It should move effortlessly like that. There should be no resistance whatsoever. And as I say, shut it again. And lock it. Now on the rear of the vehicle at the passenger side, you've got this flue here. This is for your heating. So if you've got the heating on or the hot water on gas, it's blowing the fumes out of here. So if you try to open this window above it, it will knock the heating and the hot water off. It'll come up a warning on the panel inside. So it's the only window that you can't have open when you've got the heating and the hot water on. The rest you can. Right, so your compartment lockers, the way these work is, what you do is you put the key in, turn it and it'll pop out. Then you turn it around like that, and the same with the bottom one. Then that'll let your door open. Now as you can see in your storage compartment here, you have your outside chairs, outside table. This ladder here is for the drop down bed on the front inside. You have a charcoal barbecue at the back there. Your water hose for filling your water tank. Your electric hookup lead. And some leveling ramps in that bag over the back. And there's your wheel brace and jack. And the toe pin which goes on the front toe point, which I told you about before. Now to lock these, simple as just shut the door, turn it round, it pulls the door in. And exactly the same with the bottom one. Then if you just put the key back in, do that half a turn again, and give it a tap, and to go in like that and stay in. Same with the bottom one. Like that, and that's unlocked. Right, now the motorhome does come with a 4 capacity bike rack on the back. This is for standard bikes, not electric bikes, because they're a bit heavier them, so you probably only get 2 of them on. And so you might have to remove the batteries if you can and put them in the garage on the back to make it lighter. So what you do with this is simply, you've got your catches here, just flip them open, drop it down, you put each bike on a separate one, and all you do is simply just adjust these, put them over each wheel and tighten them up so they hold the wheel, so one here, one that side. Then select one of these, whichever bike you've got on, move it up and flip it over the frame and screw it on till it tightens up, and that'll hold your bike on. It's probably advisable if you're bringing up bikes to maybe bring a lock and chain, so that way you can put it around here, you've got all your bikes on, a bit extra security, and also if you stop somewhere nobody can just literally walk away with your bike, because all they've got to do is undo these and undo that and they're away with your bike. At least if you've got a lock and chain on there, it's secure, you know. And see, when you're done with it, make sure you strap all these back up properly. All these are folded away like that. Then pop it back up and just put the catches back on like that. And as I say, it's always a good thing to do is when you're travelling with it, always stop periodically and check the bikes, make sure they're nice and secure on the back, especially before you start your journey. So as you see on the driver's side here, you also have the garage compartment locker, exactly the same as you have on the other side, which mirrors it. The locks and everything exactly the same. So you can see in that way. On this side though, you can flip the door around. There's a little catch here which holds it back so it doesn't flap around in the wind. That other side's got a spring on to help stop it flapping around in the wind. So I say make sure you use that so it doesn't cause any damage to the motorhome. Now if you're on a pitch and you've got electric hookup, you've got electric hookup lead in the garage on the back. Exactly the same as this one. So you've got a male and a female end. So this end goes to the motorhome and this end goes to the campsite. So all you do simply is just lift this little catch up, lift the lid up on it, and it just slides on there until it clicks like that, and that's it. Then plug your other end in the campsite, and that'll get you 240 running into the motorhome. It's always best to hook up the motorhome first, then hook up to the campsite, so that way you're not carrying the live lead back to the motorhome. And as I say, yours is on a reeler, so unreel it all. Maybe just tuck the surplus underneath the motorhome, because it kind of gets hot when it's wrapped up like this. So if it's out, and at least it keeps it cool. When you need to remove it, there's a little catch on the side here. All you do is just simply push that down, hold it down, and pull it, and it releases it. And you can store it away back in the garage compartment on the back. So that's that little lever there I was talking about. So that has to be down so you can pull the plug off. If you try to pull it off, it won't release it. You have to hold that down and pull the plug. Right, now your gas locker. So the lock works exactly the same as the garage locks do. Open and shut. So when you pick the motorhome up, it's got 2 gas bottles. So one will always be full and one will have what's left of the previous hire in it. And also in here you have your toilet cassette blue. So when you're changing your toilet cassette, this is the blue that you put in, what I showed you. So all you do is put about that much in, about an inch of it in when you empty it. Always start in here, because if it spills or anything, at least it'll run out the bottom of the tray in here and not stay in the inside of the motorhome. Right, how to operate your gas bottle. So you've got this little brass dial at the top here. All you do is turn that anti-clockwise until it stops. Now that's got the gas flowing into the van, so it's through this pipe now and away into the van. So now your heating in your Hobbit, etc. will be getting gas supply. Should you need to turn it off, or turn it off before you set off travelling, same again, that brass dial, just screw it clockwise this time until it stops, and that knocks it off. Should this bottle run out and you need to switch over to your spare bottle, exactly the same with this black dial. You simply just unscrew it so it's clockwise. We'll unscrew it. Like that. Then move it over to this one, unscrew the bung and screw it in there. Then turn it on at the top and that'll get your gas flowing. If you manage to run both bottles dry, you can take it to your local Kayla gas place, or on the campsites usually they've got a Kayla gas exchange thing. You can exchange a bottle. So it's generally about £20 odd to change one of the smaller ones, and be £30 odd to change one of those ones, and that'll get you going again. 9 times out of 10, most customers don't need to change them. That'll do them for the hire they've got. All you simply do, as you see, is undo this hose, undo the tie, take the bottle, they'll exchange it for a fresh one. Give you a full one. Bring the full one back, pop it in, make sure it's tied in with the strap, and hook it back up with the pipe at the top. Right, now your fresh water tank, you have a 100 litre fresh water tank hidden underneath the seat inside. You can keep an eye on the level on the gauge, I'll show you that in a minute. So to fill it, all you do is simply get the same key again, pop it in the cap, turn it, and the cap will pop off. Get the hose, so either connect the one you've got in the garage on the back to the campsite, or the campsite might have one, and just simply pop it in, turn it on, and when it's full, it'll flow back out of here. That way you know it's full. Then as you see, simply just take the hose out, key again, cap on, and lock it, and knock it shut. Now all the fresh water that you're using out of the tank inside that ends up down a sinkhole will end up in your wastewater tank, which is located underneath behind this gas locker at the back. So on the campsite there should be a dump station, a grey water dump station, basically a grate in the ground, something like that. So you drive over the top of that and get it roughly about 2 foot in from where this is. Then if you follow me down here, there's a handle here. So this is your handle here. If you follow it along, you can see the spout there. So all you do is just give that a pull, it'll drain out. Then when it's full, push it back in. And that's it done. All you do is just pull this handle like that, and all the water will dump out. Then when it's empty, it stops running, all you do is push the handle back in. And that's it done. Now the rule of thumb is with your fresh water and your waste is, every time you fill your fresh water, always dump your waste tank. Because they're the same size tanks, so you can't get too fresh into one waste. It'll just start to back up into your shower, etc. So every time you fill your fresh water in here, always dump your wastewater under here. Right, now we've made it around to the driver's side of the vehicle. So when you hop on the driver's side, above you you've got your sun visor. If you flip that down, you've got your heights up here for bridges. So 10'6", 3.25 metres. So take extra caution for bridges and garage forecourts, and also trees etc hanging over the side of the road, which you usually not be used to looking for. No drive-throughs and no multi-storey car parks for these. I've heard a few horror stories of them over the years. You've got your sat nav, which will pop up on the windscreen. You can stick on the windscreen to help you find your way around. And this little bit here pops out on this one and comes down, so you can put your phone in there if you want to use your Google Maps etc. You've got your rear view camera up here, which will come on when the ignition's on, so you can see what's behind you and help you with reversing. But when you're reversing, always get somebody to guide you in, so that way you don't catch the corners of the van at the back, etc. And your handbrake. Now your handbrake works a bit different on these. So it's on the right side of you, so if you look down here to my right, here's the handbrake. Right, how to use your handbrake. It's on the right hand side here when you're sitting in the driver's seat. On these models, the handbrake always drops down, so as you can see, there's nothing on it. So all you do is put your foot on the brake, hold it in, and just lift it up until it stops. Hold the button in, drop it down, and it'll go off. And the light will go up on the dash, and to put it back on, same again, foot on the brake, and just lift it up, just like that, just 1 or 2 ratchets, and it'll just drop down like that. But the light will come back on the dash. If you do something wrong, the light will stay on the dash and it will bleep at you to tell you that it's not off correctly. So as you can see, your handbrake light's on there. So if I drop it down, it'll go off. Put it back on, back on. These motorhomes do have stop start on, so if you stop at the lights it will knock the engine off, then put it back on when you go to pull away. Right, how to use your automatic gearbox. So put your foot on the brake and hold it down. Then there's a little button on the top of the stalk here. Just push that in and that'll let you move down through the choices. So P is for park, so that's when you park the vehicle. R for reverse. N is for neutral. D is for drive. And M is if you want to use manual, and you have up and down on the side here for the gears. You probably only have to use D for drive, R for reverse, and P to park. It does show you on the dash as well there, you can see, so if I move it down to R, you can see reverse light up there, down to drive, back to P for park. Now if you want to check your AdBlue level to make sure you're not running out, but see, it should come up on the dash for you. All you do is these little 3 buttons here, click it, and it brings a menu up there. Let's just scroll down, you can see it. So then all you do is with this little arrow here, just go down till you get to maintenance and push it in, say OK. And there it's got AdBlue range, down AdBlue range, click it. And as you can see at the moment, it's saying 3,500 miles. So generally it comes on at around 1,200, I believe, 1,200 miles, and flashes up every 100 mile after that. But 99% of hires will get away without filling that up. It's only for people if they're on the long-term hires. And I say if you need to exit the menu, just press that one, keep pressing it until it goes back to the original menu. Now, a couple of quick little tips when you're driving a motorhome. Remember your height, remember your length and your width. Width is a very important thing with these wing mirrors. We get a lot of these wing mirrors smashed off every year, and they're expensive to replace, and they're hard to get replaced if you're out on site, especially around Scotland. Trying to get people to fix them, nearly impossible. So always take care with these, because they'll stick out a long way and people don't realise. And say if you're on site, you can't push them in so people don't knock them, etc. on the site. And as I say, remember your heights, so bridges, garage forecourts, etc. Also trees. People that drive cars a lot aren't used to looking at overhanging trees on the side of the road, so watch you don't hit the sides of the motorhome and scratch it and damage it. Length, exactly the same. So when you're taking corners, remember that back end's going to swing out whichever way you're going. So take your corners extra wide and watch for people on this side here that you don't clip them. Going up and down hills, so remember if you're going up a hill, as the motorhome goes up, that back end starts to drop down. So you've got to make sure you've got plenty of clearance on there and the back end does not hit the ground. Especially if you're going on any ferries or anything like that, across to the islands in Scotland and stuff like that. Always take extra caution, just slowly edge on, get somebody to watch you. And as I say, make sure you don't ground the vehicle out, stuff like that. Right, so over your cab, this little bag here has your screen blinds in. Roll them up. So these, you've got side window ones and your windscreen one. So they go on the 2 front side windows and your windscreen. Grey side goes facing outwards, and they've got little suckers on, which just sucker on the windscreen. So I'll put the front one on just to show you for now. Just like that. Easy as that, and then see you've got your 2 side ones on which go on as well, so nobody can see in at night. Right, now when you get set up with a motorhome, you can spin these 2 front seats around. So I'll just show you the 2 catches now on which you have to flip on the bottom of, one catch, sorry, on the bottom of the seat. This catch here is to spin the chair, and this is your standard catch for forward and backwards. So all you do with that top catch is simply just click it, and it lets the seats spin round, so you know them facing backwards. As you see, the seats have to be forward when you're travelling, obviously, so they click back like that. That way they're secure. The driver's one's a bit more awkward because you've got to get around the steering wheel, so you might have to come backwards and forwards a bit. Maybe just get it to halfway, turn it back, and around like that. And then you bring it back a bit, and that's that one round. That's it. This table, just on this edge here, there's a small little lever, you just squeeze it, and then you can position the table a bit better once you set up, so that we can get round it a bit better and set it put it back when you're travelling. This is the catch here, so all you simply do is just hold it in like that, and it allows your table to move around and release it. Holds the table in place. Right, you have your 2 travelling seats in the dinette area here, so you've got your seat belts with your clips in, one hanging down the side there as well. You can remove this cushion here and the plank underneath it, so that way you can sit properly when travelling. Right, so all you do is just take this top cushion off, and this base plank just sits in there now. That removes and you can store it away in the cupboard at the back. Now you can sit 2 people here in comfort when you're travelling. Now in the dinette area you also have 2 little 12-volt USBs there for charging phones, etc. And your 240-volt socket is on the back of this cupboard on this side. So I'll come round, you should see it. And you have your cupboard above. Now to open these, what you do is, it's a handle, it's down and towards you. This one's got your TV handset in, little board game set, some playing cards, and electrical extension. You've got a bit of storage over the cab. And this one on this side opens exactly the same. This one's got your electric kettle in there and your placemats. Right, so under this seat you have your 12-volt trip switches and all your emergency stuff like breakdown stuff, first aid kits, etc. Hopefully it's something you've never got to go into, but this is where it is. So just pop the cushions off. You see they're just held on with little Velcro patches. If you lift this, you've got your 12-volt trip switches here, pack of spare fuses, your high-vis jackets, bulb kit, warning triangle, small little tool kit, first aid kit, and your tow ropes in there as well. So hopefully that's something you never need to go into, but that's where all that's stored if you need anything. Now you have your over cab window here, so you've got your fly screen on, and you've also got a blind for a night. Now if you wish to open this, you have to open these here first, on either side. Make sure these little things are undone. Open these 2 and it'll push up, and to hold it in place just screw them 2 tight again, and it'll let some fresh air into the van. And I see when you want to shut it, just the reverse. And just nip the 4 catches shut and just nip them up. But make sure this is shut when you're travelling, don't have it open. You have a fire extinguisher and fire blanket near the door. Hopefully it's something you never need to use, but that's where they are. Now on the door you have your bin. There is some bags for this bin in the cupboard here. And if you open the door, you have a fly screen on as well, which pulls across. So you get any flies or midges if you're up in Scotland. Just make sure that you do have this door pushed back, but watch, because if it's a bit windy, that catches don't hold very well, and the door will slam round and the bin will go through the fly screen. So best not to have it fly screen across if it is a bit windy. Keep the door shut. Now to work this lock, to lock it when you're inside, simply just flick it up and that locks the door. And I say to unlock it again, just put it down like that, and that's it. Right, how to work your TV. So, as long as on your habitation panel here you have interior lights switched on, because that sends power to the telly, that needs to be on. So you come back to your telly, you should have this little red light on underneath here, which means it's getting power. Now in this overhead locker here, is your telly handset. So simply power on. There you go, it's come on. Should the telly have lost the channels, if you've changed areas with the van, obviously it'll lose the channels. On the telly handset you've got a menu button here. Press the menu button, scroll along to your right till you come to settings, and then you want to go down to where it says channel, click channel, click channels, and channel scan, then it'll start a search for channels. As you can see there, it's found the channels. These TVs also have a smart side on them, so if you've got accounts with like Netflix or YouTube or Prime, etc., Amazon Prime, you can log on and watch them. So we just press the home button, which is on the top left here. That'll bring up all them, so you can start to flick through stuff on there and see sign into accounts, etc. on there. For any reason, should the Wi-Fi not be working, what you need to do is simply go back to the menu, scroll along back to settings, then you've got network and internet there. So whichever van you've got, the internet, the password's here, sorry, there, AO60, and the password for this one. So we'd be looking on there for AO60, but we're connected. So all you simply do is go on there, click that one, connect to it, which is already connected, but you'll just type the password in, and as I say, that's the password for this one there. They're all different in each van, but they're all above the habitation panel. You just put that password in and it will let you on, and you should be able to see this, get the smart side of things to work. And hopefully if you're struggling to find a terrestrial channel, you can find something to watch on the smart side of things, as you see on YouTube or Netflix sort of things, or My5 and that. Now if you're searching for the Wi-Fi and you can't find it, first come to this top cupboard here, open it, see this little box at the back here? Make sure all these 3 wires are in the bottom and any of them haven't fell out when you're travelling, and just tap that little power button, and you need the screen to look like that. If it doesn't look like that and it's got like a picture of a big battery or something on, simply just hold that power button in until it powers up and that comes on like that, then that should let you on the internet. Now you can swing your telly out a bit if you want. If you just flip that little handle there, it'll pull out and let you position the telly a bit better. And then see to put it back in, just simply push it back in and just make sure that clicks in, just like that. Or when you're travelling. See, sometimes when you're travelling, the aerial wire or the power wire might come loose, so just make sure they're pushed in correctly, and in the top there as well, if you're having trouble getting the telly to power on. Right, now your kitchenette. So above you here you've got your other cupboard, got your cups, plates, glasses, gas kettles in there if you're on gas and not on electric for the electric one, beakers in there, etc. So make cups, say that. You have another 240 volt socket here for plugging stuff in, so you've got the extension in that front cupboard. If you plug it in there you can have your kettle here or toaster, etc. Now this cupboard, to open these you just push the button in, it pops out and lets the cupboard open. Now you have the box on here, got some cleaning products in for you, and all your cutlery, etc. is in this top one, and utensils hanging up there. And down here you have all your pots and pans, etc. in here. And at the back of this one, I don't know if you can see there properly, but you have your 240 volt fuse box, which is right at the back. So if you're having any issues with 240 stuff, check that fuse box, make sure it hasn't tripped any switches. I'll just put this back in now. And this bottom one here, simply that's just got your cut off valves in, which you don't need to touch, in a little dustpan and brush. Now your hob, so as long as the gas is on at the gas bottle, so you just lift the lid, select which one you want, one for each burner, push it in, turn it, it'll spark, then it's away. So, and then see to turn off, simply just turn it back and it'll go off. Well, if you've had this on for a while, don't put this glass lid down because it'll be hot and it'll just shatter the lid, so leave it up for a bit, let it cool down, then put the lid down. But always make sure this is down when you're travelling so it doesn't drop and smash. Right, so you've now got your grill and oven here. So what you simply do is, you drop it down, so if you turn it to the left, then spark it. That lights the oven so you can see it lit at the back there, running away. You turn it back in the middle, it'll knock off. Then if you turn it to the right, you can spark it. So you'll get the top lights up there for your grill. Right, so you have your freezer here, so to open this you've got this little handle, just flick it to the side, hold it sideways, it'll open. Small little freezing compartment there, your fridge. And on the bottom, if you lift that one up, you've got a bottle cooler. So the way this works is, you can either run it off mains electric or gas, but when you're travelling, 12 volt battery, which is a cab battery. So this is the power button here, so hold that power button in, it'll power up. The best thing to do is just leave it on automatic, that way it'll select which power source it wants itself. So at the minute it's gone automatic and it's selected electric because we're an electric hookup here. So if I hold this button in, I can choose which power source I want myself. So if I go along, there's electric, there's battery for vehicle battery, and there's gas. So if I leave it on automatic, confirm it, that lets you set the temperature, so the more bars the colder. So see, I'm happy with that one there, just click it. So it's away to electric and it's away to there. So the best thing to do when you get set up is come in and just tap this little button here and just make sure, so it's gone off there. So if I tap that little button, it's gone automatic, it's on electric. So if you want to use on electric, it should be on electric. If you want gas, the gas symbol should be on. You only ever want battery when you're travelling, because if you leave it on battery, it'll just drain the cab battery and you're not able to start the van. So that's how you use your fridge. Right, so in your bedroom now, if you lift this part of the bed up, you do have a bit of underbed storage here, so you can store some bits on there. And you got two little small wardrobes either side and two cupboards above, and some downlighters underneath there as well. This light is a touch one, so you just touch it like that and it comes on and off. Right, you have two roof vents in the vehicle here. So the way these work is, you have a fly screen and you have your night blind for a night. If you want to open them, you just push this button in here, pull the handle down, then move it to the side like that, and lets you open it right up. Or you can have it like half open. When you see it to shut it, make sure it's back and that's clicked in like that. So make sure these are shut when you're travelling though, because if you don't, they'll get damaged and fly off and gets broken. So always shut them before you head off. Right, now your windows. So the way your windows work is, you've got your fly screen on and your night blind. So the way these work is, I've got like a little catch on the side, little hook. So what you do is, it's locked on that position there, so you just take it down a bit and towards you and it'll release. Don't just try and rive it up like that, because all you do is snap the clips on the end. So just down a little bit towards you, then it releases. So you can take it right to the bottom if you want, make it dark at night. If you need to open the windows, push these buttons in, turn the handles. So there's 4 of them to undo in each window. And just slide it out and turn them in. And that'll lock it open. And the opposite to shut them. If you've got the heating on, set to gas, and you open this window, this is the only window in the whole motorhome that's got the Truma switch on. because the flue is outside, so it will knock the heating off. So I'll put a little warning on here for you. So what will happen is if you open the window, it'll knock the heating off. That way it's not blowing, there's no chance of the gases outside blowing back in the van and you're gassing yourselves. All the other windows are fine, just this one window, but you can see the Truma boxes on there and there's a warning on it. Right, your shower. Not really a lot to explain about this one, but you've got 2 plugs in the bottom, just make sure they're out when you're using it. Then all you do is just undo the clips. And as I say, it'll just pop around. It's easier when you're in the shower to do it, but just clips together as so, on the inside, and that gives you your shower. So as long as the water pump's on the control panel, which I'll show you in a moment, just hot and cold, and the water will come out to you. And you've also got a handy rail up here for hanging wet towels or wet clothes up if you've come in from the rain. That way they can drip dry in the shower. Now your toilet area. Now this door here, you can open it, shut it there, that way it closes the living area off from the bedroom. Now your toilet, before you use your toilet, what you have to do is, I'll take the camera off. So, lift the lid up. Now see this grey handle here, that's called the blade. So what that does is it shuts the cassette off, so nothing can go in the cassette. So what you have to do before you use it is slide that to the right and it opens the blade. So that way all your business or whatever you do will go down in the cassette. Then to flush it, simple as push that blue button, as long as the water pumps on the habitation panel, and that'll flush it. Then after you're done, always get in the habit of shutting it. So it's shut to the left, open to the right. So always get in the habit of closing it after you've used the toilet. And as I see, you've got a window in here as well if you want to let a bit of fresh air in. And you have your overhead locker there, opens exactly the same as the other ones, with your face cloths in. Light switches here, mirror, sink, and underneath here you have some towels. This little gauge here, that's how you know the level of the toilet. So green is empty, it gets redder and redder, that's how you know it's full. Right, now your front drop down bed over the dinette. So make sure there's nobody sitting in the dinette area, or standing in the dinette area. Make sure your TV's stored away out the way. Then this little button here, just push it, it'll start to drop down. Keep an eye on the telly, make sure it doesn't catch it. That's it. Now your ladder, which will be stored in the garage area at the back, simply just hooks in like that, and that'll allow you access up. So if I go up and I'll show you how big it is. So that's me. So you could get somebody next to you there comfortably. I would say ideally like 1 adult, 1 child, or 2 children. 2 adults, be a bit cosy I think. Right, you have a safety net which pulls out underneath all the way around. It just simply hooks up to these catches all the way around. So if you've got young kids and then you worry about them rolling out, that'll stop that. When you're putting the bed away, make sure it as it is, just with this base sheet on. No pillows, no duvets. And just push the button back up and away it goes. If you try to send it with something, try to send it up with something on, it thinks there's somebody on the bed and just cuts off and trips this 12-volt switch. You have to go in and change the little 12-volt switch. So that's your drop down bed. Right, now how to work your habitation panel. So press the home button, it'll wake up in a second. So now, starting from the top here, resources, that tells you your vehicle battery level at the top and your leisure battery level. This top one here is your fresh water level and the bottom one is your wastewater level. So they're currently empty at the moment. So if I was to fill that up, I would say 100%. It only ever shows 100%, 66%, 33% or 0. I always say when it gets to 33%, think right, I need to fill it up and dump my wastewater. When you want to refill it, before you start to refill, come in here and press refill on there. Then when you refill it outside and overflows, come back in and it should say confirm, just confirm it. To go back, just press the back arrow. Switches. That one turns on your outdoor light, so your outside awning light. This one sends power to all your interior lights and your TV. So if I click that one, all the lights come on and your TV powers up. This one sends power to your water pump. So you need that on for your taps to work, your shower to work, your toilet flush to work. Go back. Now heating. So if I click this one, you've got the choice of heating or ventilating. Heating. So what you've got to do first is go here to energy source and tell it what you're going to be using, either gas or electric or both. So at the minute I've got gas on and electric off. So if I go back, inside is currently 7 degrees, so I've got it set to 22. If you want it higher, just plus it. If you want it less, just minus it. And it'll start to go flash orange like that. That means it's working and it's going to start to build the temperature up. So you've got comfort or fast. That's basically how fast you want the warm air blowing out of these little vents, which are all around the motorhome on the floor like that. So basically, it's like, kind of like a car, low or high. So it's basically low or high, if you look at it that way. So that's working now, and starting to build the temperature up to get the temperature inside the van to 22. Right, so in the summer, if you need to blow a bit of cool air around the van, so at the minute I've got the heating on, so if I just turn that off. So if you will go to room climate, click room climate, you've got ventilating there, so click that one. Then all you do is just simply just plus to how fast you want the fan blowing, maximum of 10. So whatever you want. And what that'll do is that'll just circulate cool air around the van. It's not air conditioned, it's basically just circulating the air what's inside the van around, but does help cool the van down in the summer. So that's how you'd use that. Now, warm water is exactly the same. You'll just turn it on, select what power source you want, go back, you've got the choice of 40 degrees for dishes, 60 degrees or 70. I usually say just leave it at 60 and it'll build up to 60 degrees and do its thing. So if I just turn that off, because I've got no water in the boiler at the moment, turn off. If you get a warning error comes up or anything, so say you've done something wrong, say like you're trying to run your heating and etc. off gas and you haven't got the gas turned on or something, it will come up a notification in here, and that's how you clear it. You follow through the instructions, see what it is, and clear it. Right, how to reset an error code. So I've set the heating off on gas, but what I've done is I've turned the gas bottle off so it's not getting any gas. So it should come up soon, red fault. There you go, to come up that. So if I just press OK, go to notifications, click it, and if I go outside now and turn the gas back on. Right, I've just been out and turned the gas bottle back on. So the best thing to do when you've turned the gas bottle back on, say you've run out of gas and you've changed the bottle over, is just come to the hob and just try and lighten it. That way it like purges the gas through and gets it going. Then you can go back to the control panel. Just unlock it because it's locked. Go back to notifications. And if you scroll down to the bottom, it's got declare issue resolved. So if I click that, then I say and reset the error. That one. Okay. Now the heating should come on and start to work again. There you go, she's working again. So that's how you reset an error. So as you see, that stands for whether it's electric one or gas one or anything. And as you see, the list of the error codes is up here, so you can find out what they are and try and resolve the problem that way when you've remedied the error. There is a list in here in this top cupboard for all the error faults that would ever come up. So that's how you know what it is. So if it comes up one of them error codes there, you just look on here, see what it is, rectify the problem, then come to notifications and clear it. The best way to know if you're hooked up on electric hookup like we are now, this little plug socket should come on in the top corner. That way you know you're getting 240 into the motorhome. If it doesn't come on and you're hooked up, check the fuse box. Whoop, one more. In this cupboard here is the fuse box at the back. This is Kayla Louise. Just to see whether you can see if there's any of the trips tripped. If they're not tripped, check the campsite, make sure they're not tripped and they're giving you power. But you should always have that little plug socket on, that way you know you're getting 240 in the van. Now to turn it off, I'll go back to the screen. So if you're on, if you've got it all set and leave it on, if you're going out for the day and say but you want to leave your hot water and heating on and you're going out, to save you switching all the switches off all the way around the van, just go back to switches and just do that, and that'll turn all the lights off. And go home, then you can just leave your heating on if you want. Or if you want to turn everything off, if you don't want anything running through the day, just go turn off, shut down, and it will shut everything down for you. So in this top cupboard above your habitation panel, you have your error codes for your heating system and hot water system. So should any show up on this panel, that's how you find out what they are. Your Wi-Fi is at the back there, and your electric toasters there. Right, sockets and switches around the motorhome. So as I say, in the dining area here, you've got two 12-volt ones there. On the bottom of these above units, in this corner, if you just tap it like that, you've got a strip lights on them. You've got a 240-volt socket on the back of that seat there. And I see this one above here is a little tappy one the same. Light switches there. You have a tappy one on that one, and you have a 240-volt socket there. Plug stuff in, and there is an extension in that little cupboard there, so that way you can plug it in there and have something set up here like your kettle or your toaster, etc. Moving on the roof here, that one is a tappy one for on and off. You have the ones at the back of the bed, which we've got switches on. You have an on and off switch here for the lights around the bed at the back. And in your bathroom, oh, there's Michelle, star and roll. You have your on and off switch up there for your light. So basically the only 240-volt sockets you've got in the whole van is the one there and the one on the back of that seat. You have one behind the telly, but it's a bit awkward to try and plug anything in there and use. So that's all your sockets around the van, other than you do have a USB on the dash for when you're travelling if you need to charge something. Right, so what to do when you arrive at your site. On the way in the site, if you haven't already got your water tank full, best to fill that on the way in at the water station, unless you've got a service pitch and you've got water on your pitch. So make sure that's full. And when you get on your pitch, best thing to do is get parked up on your pitch, step back from the motorhome, just have a look at it, see if you think it looks level enough. If it's maybe down the front or something like that, or down at the back. Get your leveling ramps out the garage in the back. That's your leveling ramps, and all you do with these is just slide them under whatever wheel you want and just drive up it. So you've got two stages, or three basically, 1, 2 and 3, and then get the van as level as you possibly can, iron it in, and that's how you use them. Then get your electric hookup lead out, so yours will be in the garage on the back. Simple as, just connect it up. That gets you 240 running in the van. turn your gas spot, turn it on. Then go into the motorhome, do your next bits. So what you would do is you would come in, press the home button on there, unlock the screen, go to switches, turn your interior lights on, which will turn all the lights on, then set your heating and your hot water, select gas or electric, whatever you're going to be using, and that's your panel up and running. Your fridge should already be on because you should have had it on, so it should be on automatic. Just make sure it's selected what power source you're going to want to be using, either electric or gas. If not, move it across by holding that little outline button in and move it along. So say you're wanting, I want electric, move it to the electric symbol, click it, happy with that temperature, click it, and that's it away. And as I say, that's basically your setup then, ready to go. Right, above the cab at the front here, above the passenger side, there is a little file here which runs through how things work in the van. And there's also got a copy of gas certificate and things in there, should anybody ever ask, but nobody ever does, but it's there. TV instructions and that are in there. But I will also be putting on this wall here. This is your return times and what to check to make sure you've redone in the van before you return it. I'll be putting a little one on here that'll have a QR code on, which will take you to this video so you can scan it and watch how to do things around the van if you forgot on anything, or you need to know how to do the telly, stuff like that. It'll all be on that little QR code there, so you just scan it with your phone and you can watch it. Right, when you're ready to leave, make sure you walk around the van inside, make sure all these windows are shut properly, all the roof vents are shut properly. Make sure you've stored your windscreen blinds away, so the windscreen blinds inside here, make sure you took them off and put them in the little bag. You've turned the front two seats around so they're facing forwards. Make sure all the cupboards and everything are shut correctly and all that. Any loose items are stored away. Your habitation panel has been powered off, so that's turned off. Come outside, remove your levelling ramps if you use them, store them away in the back of the van. Turn your gas off, the gas bottle. Unhook your power lead, so hold that little cap down, pull it off, and store that away in the garage around the back. Make sure all your external lockers are locked, make sure everything's stored away in them first, then make sure they're all locked. Make sure your bike rack on the back, if you're using it, make sure your bikes are on and they're all secure and everything before you set off. Just give the van a quick walk around the outside, make sure everything looks alright and that before you head off. Then on your way out the site, always best to dump your wastewater under here. So pull that handle under there when you get at the waste dump station, dump your fresh water, and probably empty your toilet at the same time while you're there. So that way it's nice and fresh for when you arrive at the next site. There is a list in the driver's door. So as you see, arrive on site, getting set up what to do, leaving site, basically run around the whole van, check you've done everything. So to keep you right. So, hope you have a nice time away in one of our motorhomes, and thank you for choosing Breakaway Camper Van here.